What are the books of adab? Why are they called books of adab, and why should you read them? I want to give you a brief history behind the significance of the name given to this field of knowledge. Now, the origin of the word adab comes from ma'duba or ma'daba, which means a feast which is prepared for people you invite. Now, there is another meaning which is akhlaq or good character and morals. And this is the meaning that took more prevalence. This is the meaning that became more popular, especially after the advent of Islam. And there is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where adab is used with this meaning. When the Prophet ﷺ said, "Addabani Rabbi wa ahsana ta'dibi." A rough translation is, "My Lord taught me good manners and he taught me well." So here adab is used with the meaning of akhlaq, good manners, and character. Now, as time went on, the meaning started becoming broader and broader. By the Umayyad period, adab started being used in the sense of education. It started taking the meaning of education because there was the mu'addib, or the person who taught adab. The children of the Khalifa, for example, they always had the mu'addib, a person who would come to teach them adab. So what did this person teach? Now, they learned the Quran and the fiqh and the hadith and all these sciences that went by default. But apart from this, the mu'addib, he taught them poetry. He taught them stories from history. He taught them incidents from history. He taught them lineage of the Arabs, stories of wisdom, and all these things. So they found teaching all these things to be very important to build the character of the child. That is why he was the mu'addib. And then the next stage was people started composing books of adab. And under this label of adab, they would write these books, and these books would contain all these topics that we talked about. It would contain poetry and stories and wisdom and all these things. And this is how this field of knowledge evolved to what it is today. And this is how the books of adab took this name of adab. So the point is, the idea behind adab is to build character and good manners. It is to build the adab of the person. What are the books of adab? Now, adab can be broadly classified into three things. Number one, general books of adab. These are books which talk about all these topics that we mentioned. An example for this is Al-Bayan wa Tabeen by Jahid, Al-Kamil by Mubarrid. So these are general books of adab. The second category is books of poetry. All the poetry is labeled as books of adab. So there are different kinds of poetry in Arabic, the poetry of Jahiliyyah, the modern poetry dealing with different topics. If you want to get started and if you're interested in the poetry from the period of Jahiliyyah, an excellent place to start is the Kitab al-Hamasa by Abi Tamam, because this is a compilation of the most beautiful poems picked right from the time of Jahiliyyah. So this is a good place to start. The third category is Nathar or prose. So this is again books of wisdom, debates, literary stories, all written with a heavy literary focus. So coming back to our question, why should you learn the books of adab? As you would have discerned from the significance of the naming of this field, it helps to build the character of the reader. It improves your communication by teaching you language skills and refining them. It teaches you how to express your thoughts and your feelings and how to reach the heart in the most beautiful way, which is very important. It makes you a milder, more sensitive and mature person. Al-adabu yuraqiq al-taba' makes you a milder person because it gives you historical context, it gives you sensitivity, it gives you wisdom. So you always find that people who do not turn to this aspect of knowledge, to adab, they have a kind of dryness and roughness in their character. Whereas those who like adab and pay attention to adab, they will have a mildness in their character. So this is why adab is very important. So if you want to learn the books of adab, if you want to benefit from the knowledge of adab, I want to say something very important. The greatest book of adab is the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, because the Quran has the best language, it has the best examples, it has the best stories, it has the best wisdom, and this is the best book of adab. So all these books should never distract you from the Quran. The Quran should be your primary focus. And the same goes for the hadith, as rightly noted by Abu al-Hasan al-Nadawi in his book نظرة جديدة إلى تراث العربي تراث الأدبي العربي. He says, to summarize the idea, he says people make a big mistake when they focus on these so-called books of adab at the cost of the books of hadith, because the hadith is a treasure trove of adab, because it contains the most beautiful language from the Prophet ﷺ, from the Sahaba when they narrate the incidents and the stories. It contains the best wisdom. So it is a treasure trove of adab, and it has the highest standards of accuracy. It has been preserved in the best possible way. So you should never ignore the Quran and the Hadith when you want to learn adab. And after this, you should go to the poetry. You should learn whatever is easy for you. Simple poems like the poetry of Al-Biri in seeking knowledge, the poetry of Imam Shafi'i. Whatever is easy for you, try to memorize what you can, because this will be very beneficial, inshallah. So learn history, read on history, read on historical events, read the stories of the Sahaba, the people from Jahiliyyah, the stories from Jahiliyyah. All these contain a lot of wisdom, a lot of lessons we can learn, and hopefully all this will make you a better person. It will build your character, inshallah, and this is why you should read the books of adab.